Yo, what's going on, guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross video. For this week, going over the guild boss for Season 2. And this is actually a way better design for the guild boss than the first season, and we're all very much enjoying it. Now, the big thing here is the point system is very much different than it was in Season 1, and the fights are going to be different as well with a whole new guild boss. So I'll be going over those things, as well as what team compositions will work best to give you the most amount of points, and how you can actually finagle more points out of the entire system. So guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So guys, one of the things about the guild boss that is really different this time around is that the mechanics are going to work very, very, very differently overall for the fight itself, as well as the point system. So this week on the guild boss, we have the point system on the left for the first week of the guild boss. So if you are checking this video out after the first week, it is going to be much different than the rewards that are detailed on the left-hand side. The middle section, big courtesy and big shout out to 7 Deadly Sins GC database. You can check out their website at gcdatabase.com in the description below, so check it out. It is the best place to get the most up-to-date database information. We also use sdsgc.gg as well. It's also a great place to get information. Both websites are great. I mean, there's no problems with either of them. The GC database just has better time to update quicker, so that's why more people are using it now. So in general, there are 3 different point brackets that we're going to see for each of these, and I'm going to be talking about them in a little in detail and going over what the best way is to get points. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and talk about the point system for the guild boss and how you can gain points. And we're also going to talk a little bit about how you can lose points as well. So first off, in each of the difficulties, for normal, it's worth 50 points for a clear. On hard, you get 120 points for a clear, and on extreme, you get 240 points for a clear. But those aren't the only ways of getting points. Of course, you have the weekly missions, which change every single week for like clearing with all girls, or hitting with a green character, or using a fairy character. Those are easy, like different small things that can be changed every single week. These are the things that are be consistent every single week. So the first one is every time you move a skill, you're going to get 1 point. Every time you skip a skill, not really sure what that means, but you get 5 points. I think skipping a skill is like if you skip whatever skill is left on your board. I don't really know exactly what skipping a skill is. I'll have to figure that one out a little bit more, but skipping a skill doesn't seem like something you can stack, so let's just move on from that. Ranking up skills by stacking. So this is actually going to be 2 points. So if you merge 2 cards together, that's worth 2 points. So I'm assuming you get 1 point initially for the move, and then 1 point for the cards merging, so that is a total of 3 points possibly. Really, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm fairly certain that's the way it's going to go, because if you hit 1 card in the middle of the 2 cards and they do merge, then that would be 2 points. But if you moved a card first, then that would be 3 points. But either way, if you hit a card in the middle or if they merge together, it's 2 points plus the 1 point. So there really is no difference in point gain if you did do it that way. Use one rank 1 skill. That is going to be 1 point. Using a rank 2 skill is 2 points. Using a rank 3 skill, however, is 8 points. So using a character like Gother that ranks up skills is a very valuable unit, because you can get a rank 2 skill, then rank it to a rank 3 skill with his Gother's rank up, and boost your points significantly. Now, all of those point systems are going to be really good, but there are additional points that you're going to get on top of that really, really put it through the roof. You also get 10 points for every time you use the ultimate. Now, unfortunately, on normal and extreme difficulty, normal and hard difficulty, usually ultimates will most likely end the fight, so you will not be able to use them until you're ready to burst. So please don't use those cards right away. Those are things that you want to hold on to until the very end. Just because you're going to get more points out of them. However, is it like a healing ultimate, like a Green Liz ultimate, then that could be a totally different situation where you would want to use it maybe right away. But again, if you did that, then you get more ultimate gauges. So, you know, it really just depends on the situation. Using a debuff skill will get you 5 points. If the skill applies multiple debuffs, points are going to be counted for the number of debuffs applied. So I actually tried using Red Slater before, and he applies normally, I think it's like 6 debuffs. He only applies 2 of his 6 debuffs, so you can't cheese it like that, unfortunately. But you can, you know, use a level 3 Ignite character to get multiple Ignite stacks if you wanted to, but it doesn't work as well as you would hope. even if the buff does not, even if the debuff does not override the current debuff, points are going to be applied. So if you use a rank 3 debuff and then you use the rank 2 debuff and the rank 2 debuff does not apply, then it will still give you the same amount of points as the rank 2 debuff would if it did apply all the debuffs. So don't worry, it actually gives you the points even if you don't overwrite the current debuffs on the boss. Buffs. Now, buffs are actually something that are going to be really, really, really good for building points on your characters. So anytime you use a buff on your character, it's going to be 8 points for using the card. And then you're going to actually add the rank of the skill on top of that. So same with debuffs and any attack cards, whatever. You're also going to take the rank of those skills, so that 8-point rank that you're going to get for a level 3 buff, and you're going to get all of those together. So if the skill applies multiple buffs, points can be counted for the number of buffs applied. So characters that are going to be good for this are going to be shown in the video, like Red Arthur. He's a very good unit. Blue Lizhawk, she's also a very good unit, applying lots of buffs on your team. Those two units are great for this because they apply multiple buffs on your team. And it's going to be a very, very big way in order to gain points. If the points will not... Even if the buff does not overwrite the current buff, other points are going to be counted for the number of buffs that you are going to bring. So let's give you an example. If you used a level 2 buff and then a level 1 buff, again, the level 1 buff will not be applied, but the points from the level 1 buff, which is the important part that we care about, that is going to be applied. Okay, so let's talk about how the points work and how they multiply together in order to give you a huge amount of buffs. So let's talk about Red Arthur and why he's great for this fight. So Red Arthur is going to get 8 points for using a buff skill. He's going to apply 3 buffs, and it's going to apply on 4 people. That's a total of 8 points times 3 buffs and times 4 people, giving you a total of 96 points that you're going to get every time you use a level 2 Arthur ability. The same thing applies if you used a level 3 Gother ability to giving multiple buffs throughout your entire team. This can also be said when you're using a Blue Lizhawk. The reason Blue Lizhawk is really good here is if you are using Blue Lizhawk, she will actually give you a buff on your team per debuff that you have on your character at rank 3, but if it's at a rank 2, it's just one buff for the debuff, 1 buff in general. So that means you get a total of 8 buffs across your team, plus another 3 from Arthur, giving you a total of 5 buffs per character on 4 people. So that would be 8 times 5 times 4, which is 8 times 5 is going to be 40, times 4 people gets you a total of 120 points. So in one turn, if you were able to use a rank 2 Arthur skill and a rank 2 a Blue Elizabeth ability, that gives you a total of 120 points in that single turn. So that gives you a huge amount of points and is very, very valuable, and that's how you're able to get large amounts of points in the guild boss. Using healing skills will also gain you points as well. You get 5 points per healing skill, and if you're using, say, King or as a cleanse, that's still a healing skill. That's one way to get points, but it's more valuable to have more HP. So no matter what, you're going to want to have the most HP on your team as possible, giving you a large amount of points because of the more amount of HP you have. They haven't actually detailed how much HP that is, but it is helpful. So all these are great ways to gain points, but how do you lose points over time? So looking over here on my left, this is the chart of how many points that you are going to lose on each given turn. All right, guys, so let's go over how you lose points. So we actually, of course, have this list courtesy of the same place, GC Database. And on the left-hand side, you can kind of see the number of turns, and on the right-hand side, the number of points lost. I made it a little bit bigger and had to finagle with it a little bit. So I apologize for the not cleanliness of my artwork here. So on the first turn, of course, is going to be 1 point lost. The second turn, it's 4 points lost. What I think, I'm not 100% on this, but I think it's not cumulative. That's just the total amount of points lost. It's not like 1 plus 4. I think it's just 4. On the third turn, it's 14. Fourth turn is 32. Fifth turn is 63. Sixth turn is 108. Seventh turn is 172. And eighth turn is going to be 256 points. So beyond that, of course, you're using massive amounts of points and you don't really want to get it done. So looking at this, I would like to say that there are a lot of ways that you can gain points on this and a lot of ways you can lose points on this. So the points start really ramping up around the 7th turn, and that's when I would say, okay, that's where you want to draw the line. You probably want to stay 7 turns or under. If possible, stay under 7 turns so that you don't lose that extra little chunk of points there. But you know, if you want to go to that 8th turn, that's perfectly fine. You can still make it to that 8th turn because the difference between the 8th turn and the 7th turn is only about 84 points, whereas the difference between the 8th and the 9th turn is about 109 points. So there's a huge difference between the 2 point values because the max amount of points that I just told you that you can gain in a turn very easily is going to be at least 120 points by using a debuff removing skill with level 2 Lizhawk and a level 2 Arthur. Now that is going to give you 120 points, and that's not even including using the rank 2 skills. Those should give you a little bit more. All of those can be included to give you a lot more points, but at a certain point, it's starting to becoming diminishing returns and not good, and that the point is level 8. Now, level 7, if you want to be a little bit more careful and you're not getting the cards you want, that's fine, but that's around where you want to be. So what I would recommend is if you're going to be doing these runs, try to stay between 4 and 7 turns if you're going to be doing the guild boss on the normal and hard difficulty in order to give yourself the most amount of buffs possible in order to clear the fight. If you're going to be doing this on extreme, obviously the fight is going to be a little bit more difficult, a little bit trickier to get all the points, so you could try to like do all these tricks and get the boss done, but at that point it doesn't really matter as much. You just want to get as many points as possible for your guild and to get yourself those nice juicy rewards. Alright guys, so let's talk a little bit about the guild boss a little bit more and look at the different things we have here. So for the hard difficulty, what I did was I used a blue Lizhawk, a red Arthur, a green Rimuru, and Gother. Now Rimuru is just here because he's a green unit, and on this week we are getting 90 points for attacking with a green character 3 times, and he's also a healer, giving me that little extra heal. If you wanted to use Helbram, that would also be a good way to go, because green Helbram is going to apply a buff to your whole team and use a debuff on the boss, giving you 2 separate ways of getting points. That would be another acceptable way of doing this fight. I use Rimuru just because I was like, you know what, I might have Helbram's level 50, my Rimuru is level 80, I might as well just go this direction. But if you have green Helbram, if you wanted to use him, that'd be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and do a run on the normal difficulty because as you can see, I have about 950 points on the hard difficulty, so I don't really need any points there, but I do kind of need points on the normal difficulty, and this will kind of show you guys a little bit about what I mean on how to clear the boss and get large amounts of points. So, going into this fight, you can see here, the team I'm using is going to be Red Gother with Blue Elizabeth Hawk. I'm going to be using a Red Arthur and Blue Lilia. The reason I'm using Blue Lilia is because she heals. That's it. I mean, nothing else to do. I could probably use somebody else if I wanted to, but, you know, she heals, so it's like, whatever. I'm also using Defense Food here. And defense food is a very, very nice thing to use here because you're going to be taking less damage, giving you more opportunity to heal. If I did want to take one character out of my team, and the most replaceable unit on this team is going to be Blue Lilia, I would probably use another buffing character if I had another buffing character here, or something else just to give me more points in order to clear the boss a little easier. Maybe a debuffing character might work, but I mean, you're not multiplying times 4 characters, so it's a little tricky. All right, when I started this, I had about 650 points, I think 654, and I'm gonna try to get a little bit more than that, and by using the buffing strategy. The first time around, I didn't really know what I was doing when I was doing the buffing strategy. Now I kind of know a little bit better on what I wanna do. So turn 1 here, you're gonna be doing a large amount of damage to the boss, unfortunately. So the lower attack value you have, the better. If you're using a team that has very low damage, then that's fine. If you wanna use more HP def here, that's probably going to be better off. You're not going to have as much problems. By using high attack gear or using large amounts of damage, you actually run into more problems here. So just know that the better gear you have for normal difficulty is actually more of a detriment than a positive. So just, you know, be aware. Nice thing though, if you do have large amounts of defense though, as you can see, we're taking a lot less damage from the boss, and it makes it so that you may not even need a healer, which is super nice. If I wanted to, I'm going to go ahead and move this card over here, get that buff. I don't have debuffs on my whole team here, so there's no reason to use that. I'm going to go ahead and use my Arthur buff here, and then I'm going to, you know what, actually, just to be smart about this, what I'll do instead is I will go ahead and boost onto Arthur, use this, and I can use it twice, and that way I can heal at the end. That way I get two buffs on my team, and that gives me the 96. Instead of getting all the points in the world, I'm getting the buffs twice. So merging Arthur buffs, not as valuable as using a boost and then using 2 Arthur buffs. It will give you more points there. On turn 2 here, looks like we're getting another Arthur buff and some other attack skills, but unfortunately, no luck so far on getting my whole team debuffed. So it looks like I'm probably going to just stick with getting a buff onto Gother. I'm going to go ahead and merge these 2 cards, apply a debuff, and then throw up a heal. And it looks like I'm only going to make it about 3 or 4 turns here just because of the amount of HP in the boss. I will probably use a different team composition later on to try to get more points out of this. But as of right now, this is probably the best I can do as far as points. I'm not going to get too many just because, you know, we're going to do too much damage to the boss. Boom. And just for a showcase, this is more just to show what you can get on this particular fight if you're going to be doing it overall anyways. So from this point on, I'm going to just go ahead and throw up another buff onto Gother just because. We're going to throw up a heal on Lilia and then use this attack skill. And then I'm going to move this out front and hopefully we get a Gother buff. If we do, then I'm going to go out and throw up another buff on the team and then we'll be set. Unlucky. Oh well. So let's go ahead and finish off the boss and then let's get out of here. But it looks like I got really unlucky on all my cards here, but it is what it is. Can't really do too much there. Okay, boom. Let's go ahead and do this and this, as well as this. It's a debuff skill. Why not? And the ultimate card will give me 10 points here, so just a little bit extra, but not a lot. And we're done. So I didn't really get good luck on that run, but I ended up getting a few points here. You can see I got 647 points here. Not as many as I would like. Unfortunately, it was just really unlucky on the cards that I got, and I wasn't getting everything I needed. So 650 points will get you a little bit closer if you're not getting a lot of points. I bet you I could probably push this to about 800 or 900 points if I really got lucky on the Gother buff skills and just keep finagling with it. Alright guys, well my name's Sekapoko. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, like and subscribe. I'm going to be putting out more videos for 7 Deadly Sins, of course, and if you do want to see more, of course, subscribe to the channel and check it out. Alright guys, have a great rest of your day. Peace.